Friends and family and faculty and Mr. Russ Brown, thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to speak to your young adults at this wonderful life event, and I promise this will not take any longer than about 45 minutes. I'm so glad that you're here to share in this moment, of course, but tonight, for about 50, I would like to speak directly to this group of young people, seniors. Sparta Academy class of 2019, congratulations. And thank you for the invitation to sharing this defining moment of your life. And tonight, what I would like to do is offer you some things that I wish that I had known on the day that I graduated high school. My life story should give each of you hope. Everything about me in the introduction is true, but it, of course, is not the entire story. I graduated high school May 26th, 1989, 30 years ago. I cannot believe it's been 30 years ago. I graduated 12th in my class, but there were only 15 of us, and that included the exchange student from Brazil. I would not have been voted most likely to give a commencement address at anything. So the hope for you is that I'm just an average C student from Escambia Academy on Cowpen Creek Road in Canoe, Alabama. And when I sat where you're at, approximately 30 years ago to the day, I had no idea where I was going. The only thing that I wanted was to be a college basketball player. And it did not work out the way that I had intended. So I would like to share some things with you that I wish that I had known on the day that I graduated high school. I wish that I had known that it's possible you might not be able to be anything that you want to be. If it were true that you could be anything that you wanted to be, I would just be finishing up a 25-year world-class NBA career. No one on the planet has ever lived that loved basketball more than I did, and I spent every waking minute hoping to be a college basketball player and maybe even a professional basketball player. I wish that I had known that seeking peace and joy should be your life's pursuit. Contentment, not searching for happiness. Happiness is affected by the smallest of things, most of which you have absolutely no control over. I believe that one of the most difficult life skills to acquire is the ability to learn from other people's mistakes. A wonderful guide for your life is to read the book of Ecclesiastes. This book was written by a man named Solomon. It was about his life's pursuit to fulfill this burning desire that he had to fill an emptiness inside of him. Solomon had more wealth than anyone who has ever lived on the planet. Solomon had more wisdom than anyone who has ever lived on the planet except for Jesus Christ. He had access to as much of anything that he wanted, everything that he wanted, and he tried it all, only to find out that it left him empty and wanting something else. In fact, each of us are born with that same burning desire for something to fill that emptiness inside of you, and you pursue the acquisition of things. And you find each time that you acquire what you thought you wanted, it still leaves you empty and wanting more of something else. Sometimes we seek that something to make us happy, to feel good, to not feel alone, to be wanted, to be desired, to be needed. Everyone wants to be needed. And we seek this validation and fulfillment through the pursuit of things. A house, a new car, a companion, a bigger house, a different companion, a job, money. Possibly the most misquoted scripture in the Bible is 1 Timothy 6:10. You've probably heard it said that money is the root of all evil. It's not what the scripture says. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. You can pursue things to fill the void inside of you, and yet nothing is going to satisfy that desire. I wish that I had known that it is terrible advice to follow your heart. Your heart is corrupt. Your heart will mislead you. Your heart is driven by how you feel, and emotionally driven people make bad mistakes. One of the first things your heart will tell you is that you have to find someone, a companion, to complete you. Placing your happiness in the acquisition of a perfect mate will end in disappointment because people will disappoint you. They're just people. No one can fill that emptiness. Picking the person you want to spend your life with should not be based on how fine they are. Pick them based on their character. Do they share the same moral values? Do they share the same goals, the same priorities? Do they make you a better person? Sometimes you seek a mate to marry. Sometimes it's just physical to make yourself feel better. You may already have had people giving themselves emotionally or even physically to someone who does not care a thing about you, but you think you're in love. And love is not defined by a physical relationship. It is reserved for marriage. You're potentially damaging a relationship with a future spouse. I would tell you to save yourself for that future spouse. And the right companion to spend your life with can be one of the most rewarding experiences in this life, but it will not satisfy that burning desire for something else. Emotionally driven pursuits end in disappointment. I wish I had known that success is not gauged on how much money you make or how much stuff you acquire. You cannot allow your life to be defined by things that you could lose. And if your success relies on being one thing and for that one thing to define if you are successful, it'd be a rough ride through life, because there's nothing in this life that says you will be rich, happy, and beautiful. And most people think, well, if I can just be rich, I won't have any problems. Unfortunately, that is not how it works. Now, money does buy stuff, but there's never enough stuff to satisfy that emptiness that's inside of you. And there's nothing wrong with wanting money. I like money. I like how it feels. I like to spend it. I like the designs on the front and back. You just can't allow it to rule your life. I wish I had known that you do not go through life and just spend money. You also spend your time, and you also spend your emotional currency. You have a limited lifetime supply of all three. And even rich people only get 24 hours in a day. The most valuable asset that you will ever give to another person is your time. And consider this: there is a chance that your entire life's purpose may be to have an impact on one person. I wish I had known that you become what you give your time to. People say, well, I just don't have time for that. For the most part, that's just simply not true. It's that you choose to spend your time on other things. It's the same for people who say, I can't afford that. That's generally not true. You could drive a Rolls Royce, you just may be living in it. I wish I had known how important it is to be able to say I'm sorry, and how equally important that it is to be able to forgive someone even if they don't say I'm sorry. I wish I had known that life is not short, as is commonly said. Life is routine. Without living with intent, you will find that life does in fact pass very quickly, because you do the same things over and over every day. You must live deliberately. I wish I had known that your life will be defined by the books that you read and the people that you allow to influence your mind and your habits. You should choose wisely the people that you allow into your life. Be influenced by people who are worthy of that position. Surround yourself with high-quality friends. It's how a C student gets through this life. My dad used to say that if you have one true friend, you have your share. And if you have two true friends, you have someone else's. I wish I had known as a high school graduate that wanted to be treated like an adult, I should have started acting like it. Resist the temptation to drink alcohol. Some of you may have already tried alcohol. I'm begging you, don't. Alcohol will absolutely destroy your life, and it will harm the people that you love and care about. My oldest brother was killed in a car wreck at age 29, and I would beg you, please do not start drinking. I wish I had known that I should not take the people in my life for granted while they are in my life and available to me. I lost my dad when he was only 51 years old. Do not take people that you love for granted. I want you to take a minute, and in your mind, I want you to think of the single person who has sacrificed the most for you to be educated on this campus? You have that person in mind? The truth is that much like me, the C student, they're really not very smart. Actually, if I could speak with you individually, they may have gotten less intelligent as the years have gone along. But the truth is, these are the only people on the face of this earth who love you more than their own life. And they may not be smart today, but they are wise. And wisdom is something that you have access to. The gray in their hair, the lines on their face. They've gone through the school of hard knocks. You should reconnect with these people as you take the next step into adulthood. They are more than willing to share their life with you, their mistakes, for you to learn from their mistakes and hopefully not make the same mistakes. Someone sacrificed for you to be here. I would strongly encourage you to spend some time and get to know these people again. They love you. By the way, believe it or not, it is a privilege to have been educated at Sparta Academy. The teachers here are not getting rich off of tuition. They're here because they care about you, and you should tell them how much you appreciate their effort to be here and educate you. Finally, and most importantly, I wish I had known on the day that I graduated that the God of the Holy Bible is real. The Bible is not a book of fiction. The people in the Bible are not characters. The Bible is filled with first-hand accounts of real men and real women who walked the face of this earth. The events of their life were written down so that we would know how to live, how to eat, how to rest, how to pray, but most of all, for us to know who Jesus Christ actually is. Jesus Christ is exactly who He said He was. John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. And I will close with this. If you want to be happy for an hour, go to Dairy Queen. If you want to be happy for a week, go to Disney World. If you want peace and joy for an entire lifetime, give your life to Jesus Christ. It's the single best advice that I can give you standing here tonight, 30 years ago, sitting where you were at. Seek Jesus Christ and His will for your life. I thank you so much for an opportunity to share this event with you. Congratulations on this wonderful life achievement.